My name is Alana Erickson, and this is the Winnebago County TV show where we talk about public health issues and relate them to your health. Today I have a guest from UWO and the health department, and I'll let them go ahead and introduce themselves and your title, your role.
My name is Carmen Thiel. I am the lab manager for the UW Oshkosh Environmental Research and Innovation Center. We're a water testing lab. We also do other testing such as surface water testing, recreational water testing such as beaches, compost testing, solids testing, you name it.
You do it all.
Yes.
All right.
And I'm Doug Guerin, the Director and Health Officer for Winnebago County Health Department.
All right. So my first question, Doug, when it comes to recreational water, the health department's always advising wear your life jackets and boat safety, but something we don't always think about is water testing. Why do we test? Why is it important?
Sure. Well, I mean, water is one of our greatest community assets, especially here in Winnebago County. We're certainly a recreational draw, and we have lots of residents that use the water. And so if we can help the community know what those conditions are or identify when there's adverse conditions, we can help keep people healthier.
Great. And you guys do the testing, correct?
Yeah, so we employ 5 full-time research scientists. They're full-time staff, and we also employ over 50 students per year. It's not only at the lab, but all over the state. We have students working in Vilas County, Manitowoc County, Door County, Winnebago County, and primarily what they do is surface water testing, as in beach testing for E. coli, and we also do some drinking water testing as well.
So when you guys are doing the testing in Winnebago County, what are some common things that come up?
What we monitor is for E. coli. So E. coli is a fecal coliform or bacteria that can get into the water from basically fecal matter, whether it's from humans, animals such as birds, cows. That's a lot of the time, that's the source of E. coli in beaches. So we routinely sample the Wisconsin beaches. In Winnebago County, we monitored 12 beaches and boat landings. So that's what we routinely weekly sample for. In addition, some other things that would be an issue in surface water would be cyanobacteria, which is commonly known as blue-green algae, but it is actually a cyanobacteria. And so these cyanobacteria can produce a toxin that can be a hazard to animals and human health. And not all cyanobacteria produces toxins. So basically what I recommend people to watch out for is just watch out for stagnant water. If there's a lot of fecal matter on the beach. And yeah, if there's no wind, watch out for that as well as discharge pipes.
Okay.
That can be a big source of.
So you guys go to the different beaches in Winnebago, and when you find tests that aren't so favorable, what happens next? Who do you tell? What are the steps?
Sure. So these students that go out and monitor these beaches, if there are some numbers that come out high, we either post an advisory or a closing, depending on the level of bacteria. And so we post either one of 3 signs. It would be a green sign, as in the beach is open and it's good water quality. Yellow is an advisory, and red is a closing. So if you were to see a yellow or red sign, it would mean stay out.
All right. And Doug, do we put the information on our website?
Yep. So you can just go to winnebagopublichealth.org, look up environmental health, and you'll be able to see the most recent samples posted on our website. And you can also look at all the historical results to get an idea of what the trend has been over the season.
Okay. So with E. coli and blue-green algae, is that something that you see or you smell?
E. coli you actually cannot smell or see in the water. Cyanobacteria, you may be able to see it, and it does also break down over time, so you may be able to smell it as well. In terms of cyanobacteria, what I would watch out for is kind of like a pea soup look in the water. Otherwise, if you see any floating scum-like material, that could also be a sign of cyanobacteria. But in terms of E. coli, you can't really see it or smell it.
And some of the messaging that we've given as a health department, besides like stay out, maybe that just isn't as well known. Can you talk about that, Doug? Boating, or pets, that kind of thing.
Yep. So the blue-green algae or cyanobacteria, can be found throughout the lake. Wind conditions can push it from one shore to another. It can form really thick mats. It can be in one place one day and another place another. So you really have to be aware of what the conditions are where you're at. We certainly advise people to stay out, as we mentioned, and to watch out for it when you're boating. If you're jet skiing, if you're boating, you can actually aerosolize the cyanobacteria, and it can be an irritant as well. So you really want to avoid the contact as much as possible.
Okay. Pets. We sometimes forget that the Fido runs into the beach. What are some messaging points there?
Yeah. So one of the I think probably the things that people don't take into account is that pets clean themselves, and if they are let to run loose and they run into contaminated waters and they clean themselves, they become quite ill. Same thing, young children, they don't understand the hazards, and so making sure they stay out of the water. Typically, wading into an area of cyanobacteria may or may not cause a skin reaction. We advise people to stay out, but kids especially, you really don't want to ingest any of that water.
Okay. Any other considerations on testing lakes or ponds that you want the public to know? Otherwise, we'll move on to pools, another public swimming area that people can enter. Are they tested? When are they tested?
Yep, so the Winnebago County Health Department tests all public pools, hot tubs. So these are public pools, schools, condos, hotels, motels, and those are all tested a minimum of once a year. And we're looking at water chemistry. We're looking to make sure that pool is maintained properly, looking at pool logs, looking for safety features, just to make sure that those areas are safe.
Is it the same type of things that they're looking for, E. coli and blue-green algae? I mean, what are people looking for?
Yep.
What are we testing for?
So in a pool, we're looking at water chemistry. We want to, with efficient chemistry, you have good disinfection. So are the chlorine levels there? Is the pH right for those chemicals to be working right? We're looking for clarity in the water. So one thing you can look for when you go to a pool, you can't test it for chemistry yourself usually. Is it clear? And is there a really strong chlorine smell? Typically, you have a stronger smell when you have chloramines produced, which is a result of that chlorine working. And so high loads, high participant loads in pools is another indication of potential water quality impact, and maybe something you want to consider before you use the pool.
Mm-hmm. So if people have concerns about a pool and aren't sure if it's tested, who should they contact?
Mm-hmm. So typically, every site's going to have a pool operator or manager. That would be the first person to contact if you have questions about the pool, and especially if you see conditions at the pool immediately. Things that might be a hazard, like broken glass, or a child's diaper that might happen to fall off, or the notorious fecal incident that usually causes a mass evacuation of the pool.
Right. Always keep your eyes out for those types of things. So the CDC has a lot of good resources that you can post at your facility about educational tools for swim safety, recreational safety as well. You can also go on to Wisconsin's website, the Wisconsin Department of Health Services website, and they've got a lot of information for you there as well. So our website is www.winnebagopublichealth.org. We also post information on our social media at Winnebago Health. So I want to thank my guests for coming in today. We got through a lot of information, but I'm sure if folks have questions, they can still reach you. How do they reach the ERIC Lab?
They could come to our website. It's eric.uwosh.edu.
All right.
Or just feel free to give us a call. Again, our phone number is on our website. So
Great. Thank you both, and we'll see you next time. This has been the Winnebago County Health Department's TV show, where we talk about public health and we relate it to your health.